Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a truly vibrant modern fable called Mia and the Restoration of the Colorless Kingdom. It's an incredible story all about art, magic, and figuring out where you truly belong. Let's just jump right in and see what makes this such a resonant tale. Imagine this for a second. What would you do if you found a bucket of paint that could literally bring your wildest imagination to life? I mean, it's pretty much the ultimate creative fantasy, right? Well, that is the exact reality for our protagonist, a super creative little girl named Mia. She lives in the wonderfully named Bright Brush Village, spending her days happily painting these bright, colorful pictures of animals, castles, and magical lands. She's a total creator at heart. But as you might guess, her ordinary creative life is about to take a massive leap into the extraordinary. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the magical paint bucket. So picture this. It's a sunny afternoon, and Mia is helping her grandmother clean out the dusty, forgotten corners of their attic. And hidden behind some old boxes, she makes a remarkable find. It's this old silver paint bucket. But attached to it is this tiny, really unassuming note that reads, "Use this bucket with kindness, and colors will come alive." That is a massive detail. The magic here doesn't work through some complex spell. It relies entirely on empathy. If Mia isn't kind, this bucket is literally just filled with wet, colorful goop. Naturally, Mia reads the note, smiles, and decides she has to test it out. She dips her paintbrush in, and the paint itself actually begins to glow. She quickly paints a simple tiny butterfly on her canvas. And then, you guessed it, flutter! The butterfly physically flies right off the page. Two-dimensional art instantly becomes a three-dimensional living creature. Mia is absolutely stunned. The paint bucket is genuinely magical, and her creative potential, limitless. Which leads us right into Section 2. Enter the Colorless Kingdom. Fast forward to that very night. A colorful, talking hummingbird named Prism suddenly appears at Mia's window and pulls her straight through this massive, swirling rainbow portal, dropping her into an entirely different dimension. And the contrast is wild. Back home, Bright Brush Village is all about rainbows and vibrant life. But this new realm? It is fundamentally broken. The castles are entirely gray. The flowers have completely lost their color. Even the sky itself is this pale, fading hue. It's a tragic, emotionally draining reality where absolutely everything is muted. So Mia and Prism are immediately greeted by the realm's ruler, Queen Aurora. And she sadly explains the core of this crisis. Their rainbow gem has vanished. And without this specific gem, every single ounce of color in the kingdom is going to disappear forever. It is an absolute existential threat to their world. Mia, standing there holding her magical, glowing paint bucket, immediately knows she has to step up. She accepts the call to adventure. And that kicks off Section 3, the search for the gem. Now, Mia isn't going to navigate an unfamiliar magical kingdom all by herself. She gathers this incredibly diverse and quirky little crew to help her. We've got Patches the Panda, who brings a nice, steady presence. There's Sparkle the Unicorn, adding that essential touch of inherent magic. And then we have Nutmeg the Squirrel, bringing the high energy and agility. Together, this brand new squad sets out to scour the fading kingdom for any clues. And talk about making good time. They cover some serious ground on this quest. Hour 1, they're trucking across the Valley of Paintbrushes. By Hour 3, they are deep underground, exploring the massive, glittering color caves. Pushing forward to Hour 5, they find themselves sailing across the magical Rainbow River. And finally, by Hour 7, they reach their ultimate destination, the towering mountain of colors. It's right here, hidden deep inside a crystal cave at the very peak, that they finally spot the missing rainbow gem. Now this is where things get really interesting. Section 4, the lonely chameleon. You know, in a standard fairy tale, reaching the treasure usually means fighting off a terrifying dragon or some wicked sorcerer, right? But there is no malicious villain waiting for them in this cave. Plot twist, the great thief who threw the entire kingdom into colorless chaos is simply a nervous, lonely little chameleon named Kalido. He hasn't destroyed the gem at all. He's actually just sitting there protecting it. When Mia and her friends confront him, there's no epic battle. It's just a small, frightened creature totally overwhelmed by the huge mess he caused. Kalido looks right at the group and admits, "I borrowed the gem because I wanted everyone to notice me." Just think about the bitter irony of that for a second. He is a chameleon. He is biologically designed to blend in and disappear into the background, but inside he has this desperate, universal desire for validation. He just wanted to be seen. He didn't want to hurt the kingdom. He just let his own deep loneliness make his decisions for him. So how does Mia handle this? Remember that note on the paint bucket? The magic requires kindness. Mia and her crew immediately welcome him in. Mia smiles and tells him straight up, "You don't need a magical gem to be important." Patches and Sparkle jump right in and offer him genuine friendship. And then Nutmeg enthusiastically invites Kaleido to actually join their adventure. They don't punish him, they include him. And at that exact moment, Kaleido's eyes fill with absolute joy. His need to hoard the gem totally vanishes because his need for connection was finally met.
And that brings us perfectly to Section 5, the true meaning of special.
With the conflict resolved through empathy instead of combat, the newly expanded group, now officially including Kaleido, takes the rainbow gem back to Queen Aurora. The second they place that gem back onto its rightful pedestal, boom! Colors absolutely explode across the entire kingdom. The energy is just electric. The gray castles instantly start to sparkle, faded flowers aggressively bloom into literally every shade imaginable, that pale sky snaps right back into a vibrant, bright blue, and massive rainbows stretch across the horizon. The crisis is over, and the kingdom just erupts into a giant, joyful color festival.
But as every great story must, ours comes to an end. The next morning, Mia wakes up back in her own bed in Brightbrush Village. For a fleeting second, looking around her normal room, she kind of wonders, was that epic, colorful adventure all just a really vivid dream? But then she spots something on her desk. It's a tiny, single drop of rainbow paint, and it's glowing. She smiles. It's physical proof. The magic, the kingdom, Kaleido, the whole shebang, it had all been entirely real.
So what's the real takeaway here? True specialness isn't about being the absolute loudest, the brightest, or hoarding the spotlight so people are forced to look at you. Kylo definitely learned that the hard way. True specialness is achieved through kindness, through offering genuine friendship, and simply by being yourself. Authentic connection outshines forced visibility, every single time.
Let's bring this back to you before we wrap up today. I want to leave you with a challenge inspired by Mia. Who can you notice today without them having to shine? Who in your life, maybe at your workplace or in your community, might feel a bit like a chameleon, just blending into the background, secretly desperate to be seen? You don't need a magical glowing silver paint bucket to bring color into someone's world. You just need to show them they are noticed. Think about that today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you on the next Explainer.
For more interesting videos, subscribe our YouTube channel